Imagine how simpler life would feel if you could stay calm under pressure. Picture yourself in challenging situations, keeping your composure and responding thoughtfully, instead of acting on impulse. This book, The Power of Not Reacting by Justice O. Malcolm, will guide you on becoming more emotionally savvy, directing your reactions and staying level-headed no matter what comes your way. Have you ever reacted in anger or frustration and later regretted it? We all have. Such impulsive reactions often lead to decisions we wish we could take back. Can this be changed? Picture a world where you control your response, rather than letting your initial reactions take over. This book is here to help you develop that essential skill. Our journey starts with understanding why controlling our emotions is so crucial. Emotions are a natural part of us, but can lead us in the wrong direction when they take over. This book will teach you to identify what triggers your emotional reactions and equip you with techniques to manage those feelings effectively. By mastering your reactions, you'll navigate challenges with poise and make decisions that truly reflect your intentions. The first step is to recognize the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is usually an automatic, emotion-driven response, while responding is a thoughtful, deliberate action. This book will show you how to move from reacting impulsively to responding thoughtfully by increasing your self-awareness and mindfulness. You'll learn to take a moment to pause during stressful times, giving yourself a chance to choose a reaction that aligns with your goals and values. Now let's delve deeper into mindfulness. To keep your emotional responses in check, it's essential to practice mindfulness. This means staying focused on the present moment without letting your thoughts and emotions take over. This book provides simple, daily mindfulness practices that help you become more self-aware and less prone to react to your emotions. Being mindful can give you the calm and perspective needed to face any challenge confidently. Another useful technique covered is breathing exercise. Stress often causes us to tense up and breathe shallowly, which can make us feel even more anxious. This book will guide you through simple breathing exercises to help you think more clearly, reduce stress, and relax your nervous system. It also emphasizes the importance of understanding the roots of your emotional reaction. Often our strongest reactions stem from unresolved issues or past experience. By identifying these underlying triggers, you can confront them directly, lessening their control over your emotions. The book includes exercises for uncovering and healing these emotional wounds, enabling you to react more calmly and rationally in the future. The Strength of Keeping Calm features stories from real people who have mastered the art of controlling their emotion. Hearing their experiences will demonstrate the value of emotional mastery and inspire you to apply these lessons in your life. You'll see improvements in your relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being as you learn to manage your emotions. Keep in mind that the ability to control your emotions is within you. By mastering the art of thoughtful responses, a life filled with calm, clarity, and meaning is within your grasp. Welcome to the power of keeping calm and controlling your emotions. Let's embark on this transformative journey together and discover the strength that comes from controlling our emotion. Imagine controlling your emotion, not letting anger, frustration, or sadness dictate your reaction. It's not just about suppressing feelings, but understanding them, regulating them, and using them wisely. You've likely had moments of impulsive reactions that you later regretted. What if you could train yourself to respond rather than react, to remain calm despite the chaos around you? This book offers a systematic approach to using non-reaction as a tool for emotional regulation, providing a fresh perspective on managing your emotions. Chapter 1: Understanding Emotional Triggers. Have you ever wondered why certain situations or remarks instantly make you feel angry, sad, or anxious? You're not alone. These sudden emotional reactions are often triggered by specific events, conversations, or people that spark intense emotions within us. These triggers are deeply personal and usually connected to past experiences or ingrained beliefs about ourselves or the world. For instance, if you were teased at school, a similar comment from a coworker might trigger feelings of insecurity and fear. Or, if you felt overlooked as a child, being ignored in a conversation could trigger anger or resentment. However, it's important to remember that these emotions are not necessarily a reflection of the current reality, but echoes of past experiences. Realizing this can be incredibly freeing. It allows you to see that you're not reacting to the present situation, but to a memory or fear. Understanding your emotional triggers isn't about blaming others. It's about gaining insight into your emotional landscape and learning to take control of your reaction. By becoming aware of what sets off your emotions, you can start to choose how you respond to these triggers, instead of being controlled by them. In the face of emotional triggers, it's crucial to understand your default responses, as they often happen automatically and can cloud your ability to think clearly. These responses are ingrained in your behavior over time and are your usual reactions when faced with stress or confrontation. It's essential to recognize that these default responses are not inherently good or bad. They are simply your conditioned reaction, and they can be changed. But first, you need to identify them. Do you quickly become angry? Do you withdraw into silence? Maybe you try to please others excessively. Or perhaps you deflect and blame others. The first step is to pinpoint your automatic reactions. To identify your default response, you'll need to reflect on past situations where your emotions were intense. What was your immediate reaction? Did you shout, withdraw, cry? Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. The goal is pure understanding. It's important not to judge yourself during this process. You're not a bad person for reacting the way you do. These responses have likely served you in some way, possibly as a protective measure. But by identifying them, you open the door to gaining more control over your emotional reactions in the future. It's a crucial step in mastering the art of not reacting. As you dive deeper into your emotional responses, you'll begin to notice the physical signs that accompany them, providing further insight into this automatic process. These physiological responses may include an increased heart rate, shallow breathing, or even a sense of unease in your stomach. It's essential to understand that these physical reactions are not random. They are your body's way of signaling that your emotions are being stirred. Recognizing these bodily cues is like learning a new language, a language of self-awareness. While challenging, it's worthwhile. At first, you might find it hard to distinguish between the physical signs of different emotion. Don't worry, it's a process. Encourage yourself to stay patient and curious, because understanding your body's reactions will equip you with the knowledge you need to manage your responses better. This phase of recognition is not about judgment, but observation. As you become more familiar with your body's reaction, you'll develop a heightened sense of awareness, can be both enlightening and empowering. You'll start realizing that an accelerated heartbeat might not just signify fear, could also mean excitement. Or that uneasy feeling in your stomach might not be just about apprehension, could also be anticipation. Harnessing the power of a mental pause button can be your greatest ally in managing emotional reaction. This pause button isn't a physical thing, but a mental construct that you can create, modify, and use to your advantage. It's all about creating a momentary break in the chain of thoughts or emotion that might lead you to an impulsive, often unconsidered reaction. Picture this pause button as a stop sign that pops up in your mind when you start feeling overwhelmed or reacting. It's your brain's cue to stop, take a moment, and reassess the situation. This concept might seem simple, but it's often easier said than done. Don't be discouraged if you find it challenging to pause as your emotions flare. It's a skill that takes time and practice to master. When you first start using your pause button, you may only manage to catch yourself after you've reacted. That's okay. The important thing is you're becoming more aware of your emotional responses and starting to question them. Over time, you'll get better at hitting pause before you react. Breathing techniques can also help calm your mind and body, especially when you're on the verge of an emotional reaction. It's not magic, science. Your breath is closely linked to your nervous system, and by controlling it, you can alter your emotional state. Let's explore a popular breathing technique known as the 4-7-8 method. This technique involves inhaling for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 7 seconds, and exhaling 8 seconds. By doing this, you're taking in more oxygen and stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. It promotes calmness. When you're feeling emotionally charged, your body often goes into fight or flight mode, making your breathing shallow and fast, which can cloud your judgment. By consciously altering your breathing pattern, you're effectively reversing these physical reactions, giving you a chance to think clearly and choose how to respond rather than react impulsively. The more you practice these breathing techniques, the more natural they'll become. Eventually, you'll find yourself using them instinctively whenever you're in a challenging situation. So the next time you feel the heat of anger or the sting of hurt, pause, breathe, and regain control. It's a small step, but a crucial one on the journey towards emotional mastery. These breathing techniques offer another layer of control over your emotion, and that's the strength in calm. Chapter 4. Mindfulness in Everyday Life. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine can profoundly change how you respond to life's ups and downs, making it a crucial tool in your emotional control toolkit. It's not just about meditation or yoga. It's about being present in each moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Consider, for example, when you're having a conversation, are you truly listening or are you waiting for your turn to speak? By fully engaging with what the other person is saying, you're practicing mindfulness. You're not reacting impulsively, but rather responding thoughtfully and constructively. This simple act can significantly improve your relationships and reduce stress. The same applies when you're eating. Instead of mindlessly munching away, try to savor each bite. Notice the texture, taste, the aroma. By doing so, you're not only enhancing your dining experience, but also promoting better digestion and preventing overeating. Mindfulness can also be practiced during routine activities like washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or even walking. Instead of letting your mind wander, focus on the sensation of the water on your hands, the bristles against your gums, or the ground under your feet. This can bring a sense of peace and calm, making you less reactive to external circumstances. Building upon the practice of mindfulness, developing self-awareness skills becomes an integral part of managing reactions and cultivating a more balanced life. It's about becoming the observer of your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This self-observation isn't about judgment or criticism. It's rather a gentle and compassionate inquiry into one's own inner working. When you practice self-awareness, you start to notice patterns. Maybe you react sharply when you're tired, or perhaps you're more anxious when you're hungry. These are windows into your behavior, opportunities to understand your triggers, and to cultivate a more balanced response. It's not about suppressing your reaction, but about learning to navigate them more effectively. Developing self-awareness also means acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses. It requires honesty and courage to face your limitations. Yet it's through this acknowledgement that you can begin to make changes to grow and to develop a more balanced and satisfying life. Developing self-awareness is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. It's a journey of self-discovery that can be challenging, but also incredibly rewarding. Sometimes, having an objective and empathetic listener, like a counselor or a coach, can provide valuable insights and guidance. Traversing the sea of emotions, labeling and accepting them becomes a crucial step in managing reaction. It's not just about identifying your emotions, but also acknowledging them, even the uncomfortable ones. This process allows you to understand your emotional patterns and their triggers, thereby gaining control over your reaction. First thing to do is to recognize your emotions as they come. Are you feeling angry, sad, frustrated, or anxious? Don't shy away from these feelings. Instead, name them, say them out loud, or jot them down. This act of labeling creates a psychological distance between you and the emotion, enabling you to observe it rather than being consumed by it. Acceptance, though, doesn't mean resignation or complacency. Rather, it's about acknowledging that these emotions are part of you, and they have a purpose. They're signals telling you something about your environment, or situation, or your inner state. Recognizing that your emotions, even the negative ones, are there for a valid reason, so to accept. Remember, accepting your emotions doesn't mean you have to act on them. You're allowed to feel angry without lashing out, to feel sad without sinking into despair. Acceptance simply provides the clarity to understand these feelings, lessening the power they've over your reaction. Labeling and accepting emotions is a skill that takes practice. But with time and patience, you'll find that this process can lead to profound personal growth and improved emotional control. It's a pivotal step in harnessing the power of not reacting. Chapter 6: Reframing Negative Thoughts. After mastering the art of labeling and accepting emotion, it's time to tackle another essential skill: reframing your negative thoughts. This mental exercise requires you to consciously choose a positive or neutral interpretation over a negative one. It's about transforming your perspective to see situations from a different, more empowering angle. Consider this. You're stuck in traffic, and you're late for a meeting. The frustration surges and you think, "This always happens to me. Why do I have such bad luck?" This is a negative thought process that can spiral out of control, leading to heightened stress and anxiety. However, by reframing, you might think instead, "This traffic gives me time to relax and listen to my favorite podcast for the meeting." Reframing isn't about denying reality or avoiding negativity. It's about widening your viewpoint, acknowledging the existence of different perspectives, and choosing the one that serves you best. Negativity can limit your potential and rob you of the joy in your life. By reframing, you're not only changing your thoughts, but also your emotional response to situations. Often, the world isn't as you see it, but as you interpret it. Reframing provides a way to shift that interpretation to a more positive or neutral one, which can be incredibly liberating. It's about controlling what you can, your thoughts and emotions, and letting go of what you do. This is the true strength of keeping calm, and it's a skill that can profoundly improve your emotional well-being. Chapter 7: Practicing Empathy and Compassion. While mastering the art of reframing your negative thoughts gives you control over your emotions, practicing empathy and compassion allows you to extend that control and understanding in responding to the emotions of others. These twin virtues, empathy and compassion, are the gateways to emotional intelligence, enabling you to connect with others on a deeper level. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, isn't an innate skill, something you can develop, like a muscle. Start by actively listening. When someone shares their feelings, don't just hear the words. Listen for the emotions behind them. Validate those emotions, even if you wouldn't feel the same way in that situation. Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. Compassion, on the other hand, goes a step further. It's not just understanding someone's pain, but wanting to alleviate it. Cultivate compassion. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Imagine what it's like to be them, to feel their pain, their joy, their frustration. It's essential to remember that practicing empathy and compassion doesn't mean you're responsible for fixing others' emotion. Your role is to understand, validate, and share in their emotional experience. This practice can help you respond rather than react to emotional situations, giving you greater control over your own emotions and interaction. In your journey towards emotional intelligence, owning your reactions is a critical step, as it empowers you to manage not just your emotions, but also the way you express them. Recognizing that you're the one in control of your reactions, not the situation or the person who might have triggered them, is the key to developing emotional stability. This is a vital necessity, but it's a journey worth taking. Think about your usual reactions to different situations. Are they truly serving you? Often we react impulsively, driven by instinct or habit, without considering whether our response is beneficial or destructive. You have the power to change this. By acknowledging that your reactions are your responsibility, you can begin to choose responses that align with your values and goals. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotion. It's about understanding them, processing them, and then deciding how best to express them. It's about learning to pause before reacting, creating a gap where choice resides. This pause allows you to respond rather than react, to choose understanding over judgment, and patience over frustration. Taking responsibility for your reactions also involves accepting the consequences of your actions. If your reactions have caused harm, making amends is crucial, and making amends where possible. This not only helps to mend relationships, but also reinforces your commitment to self-improvement. Chapter 9: Building Emotional Resilience. Building emotional resilience, your armor against life's challenges, requires a deep understanding of your emotion and a commitment to navigate through them rather than around. It's about developing a robust emotional immune system and withstand stress, adversity, and hardship. The ability to bounce back and recover from emotional setbacks is vital for maintaining your mental health and overall well-being. Firstly, let's recognize that emotional resilience isn't about avoiding or suppressing your feelings. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging them, understanding their origin, and learning how to manage them effectively. You can't control the waves, but you can learn how to surf. Secondly, emotional resilience is about flexibility and adaptability. Life doesn't always go as planned, and that's okay. How you react to these unexpected changes matters. You adapt, adjust, and find a way to thrive, even when things don't go your way. Finally, building emotional resilience involves cultivating a positive mindset. This doesn't mean you have to be cheerful. It means you're able to hold on to hope and optimism, even in the face of adversity. It's about focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. Chapter 10: Learning to Forgive Quickly. Another key strategy in bolstering your emotional resilience is learning to forgive quickly. A step that's often challenging, yet incredibly liberating. It's not about dismissing the wrong or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about freeing yourself from the heavy burden of resentment and anger that weighs you down. When you hold on to grudges, you're not punishing the other person, punishing yourself. Your mind becomes a battleground of negative emotion, draining your energy and focus. But when you choose to forgive, regain control. You're not forgiving for their sake, your own peace of mind. To master forgiveness, start by acknowledging the hurt. It's okay to feel wrong. It's a natural reaction. Don't let these feelings fester. Reflect on the situation objectively, without letting emotions cloud your judgment. Ask yourself, holding on to this grudge benefiting you in any way? Then make a conscious decision to let go. It's not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, including you. Understanding this can make forgiveness feel less like a concession and more like a gift of kindness to yourself. Lastly, practice empathy. Try to see things from their perspective. This doesn't mean you're justifying their actions, but merely understanding them. This shift in perspective can be a powerful catalyst for forgiveness. Pride can profoundly transform your emotional landscape, making you more receptive, empathetic, and resilient. Ego and pride often serve as a protective armor, defending against perceived threats and vulnerability. However, they can also become barriers, preventing you from acknowledging your mistakes and obstructing your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. Letting go of ego and pride isn't about denying your self-worth or potential. It's about establishing a healthier, more balanced perspective of yourself in relation to others. It's about recognizing that you're not always right, you're not infallible, and that it's okay to be vulnerable and wrongsome. You're human, right? Begin by becoming more self-aware. Notice when your ego or pride is taking control of your reaction. Are you defending yourself unnecessarily? Are you refusing to accept feedback or criticism? Are you insisting on having the last word? These are clear indicators that your ego and pride are in the driver's seat. Humility isn't about being meek or submissive, but about recognizing your place in the grand scheme of things. You're important, so is everyone else. Your opinions matter, but so do others. Finally, practice empathy. Put yourself in others' shoes and try to understand their perspectives. This can help you become less defensive and more open to different viewpoints. Letting go of ego and pride is a continuous journey, not a one-time event. It requires patience, humility, and most importantly, a willingness to change. But the rewards improve over time. Relationships, better self-control, and increased emotional intelligence make the effort worthwhile. Chapter 12, Cultivating Gratitude Daily. In your journey towards emotional tranquility, cultivating gratitude daily becomes an invaluable tool that can dramatically enhance your outlook on life. It's not just about saying thank you more often. It's about truly feeling thankful. The big and small things make up your existence. This appreciation can create a buffer against negative emotions and reaction, helping you gain control over your emotional responses. Having gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the negative aspects of life. Instead, it's about finding a balance and acknowledging that even unpleasant experiences can hold valuable lessons. When you're faced with difficulties, try to find something you can be grateful for amidst the chaos. This shift in perspective can help you approach challenges with a more positive mindset, reducing the likelihood of knee-jerk emotional reaction. Cultivate gratitude. It's helpful to make it a daily practice. You might keep a gratitude journal where you jot down a few things each day that you're thankful for. Over time, you'll find that this practice helps you to start naturally noticing the positive aspects of your life. You're not just jotting down words, you're rewiring your brain to focus on the good instead of dwelling on the bad. Chapter 13. Improving Communication Skills. Mastering the art of communication can substantially enhance your ability to emotional balance and foster healthy relationships. This skill isn't innate, but it's something you can cultivate and refine over time. It requires a certain degree of self-awareness, empathy, and patience. Firstly, the cornerstone of effective communication lies in active listening. It's about truly hearing what the other person is saying rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. This showcases respect and acknowledgement, which can pave the way for open and honest dialogue. Secondly, you should aim to express your feelings and ideas clearly and assertively, but never aggressively. This distinction is vital. Assertiveness involves standing up for your rights without violating others, while aggression disregards the feelings and needs of others. Your words carry weight, but choose them wisely. Furthermore, nonverbal communication can be just as, if not more important as what you say. Your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice send signals about your emotional state. Seek to verify that these align with your verbal messages. Finally, remember that communication isn't a one-off event. It's an ongoing process that needs regular practice. Be open to feedback, and don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong. This shows maturity and a willingness to grow, which can strengthen your relationships and help you control your emotions more effectively. In the end, remember that improving your communication skills is a journey, not a destination. The more you practice, the better you'll get. You keep at it, and you'll reap the rewards in time. Chapter 14: De-escalating conflicts effectively. When conflicts arise, as they inevitably will, your ability to de-escalate the situation effectively can substantially impact the outcome. De-escalation isn't about winning or losing. It's about transforming a potentially volatile situation into a more manageable. The first step is to remain calm. Easier said than done, right? However, your calmness can influence the other person's emotion. Remember, emotions are contagious. If you stay composed, you're subtly encouraging the other person to match your emotional state. Next, listen attentively. It's easy to get lost in our own thoughts during a conflict, but try to focus on the other person's words. Show empathy, not judgment. By doing so, you validate their emotions and demonstrate your willingness to understand their perspective, which can help to cool the situation. Then, use non-confrontational language. Avoid absolutes like always or never, which can escalate tension. Instead, use I statements to express your feelings without blaming the other person. For instance, say, "I feel upset," when instead of "you always." Finally, suggest solution. If the other party sees that you're committed to resolving the conflict rather than prolonging it, they're more likely to cooperate. Yet, it's essential to remember that the goal of de-escalation isn't necessarily to resolve the conflict right away, but to prevent it from escalating further. Mastering de-escalation techniques is a key part of harnessing the power of not reacting. Remember, it's not about suppressing your emotions, but effectively managing them. Foster healthier interaction. Chapter 15: Setting Healthy Boundaries. Traversing through life's complexities, it's essential for you to set healthy boundaries that respect your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls or shutting others out. Instead, it's about creating a space where you feel safe, valued, and understood. Imagine boundaries as invisible lines that you draw around yourself. These lines define your personal space and dictate how you allow others to treat you. They outline your values, expectations, and limits. When effectively set, these boundaries can bolster your self-esteem, freedom, and individuality. Developing these boundaries begins with self-awareness. You need to understand your feelings, needs, and values. It's about knowing what you can tolerate and accept, and what makes you feel uncomfortable or stressed. Once you've identified these, communicate them assertively. Be clear, yet compassionate, and remember, it's okay to say no. It's also crucial to respect other people's boundaries. Understanding and accepting that others have their own limits fosters mutual respect and empathy. It's a two-way street. Setting boundaries can be hard, especially if you're not used to it. You might fear rejection, confrontation. But remember, setting boundaries is a sign of self-respect. It's about prioritizing your well-being over pleasing others. Chapter 16: Managing Stress and Anxiety. While setting healthy boundaries is a key step towards self-care, learning to manage stress and anxiety also plays a vital role in maintaining your overall well-being. Stress and anxiety can be overwhelming, and if left unmanaged, they can lead to various physical and mental health issues. One effective way to manage stress and anxiety is through mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to stay present in the moment rather than dwelling on past regrets or future apprehension. It's about recognizing your feelings without judgment and calmly acknowledging them instead of reacting impulsively. Healthy lifestyle choices can dramatically reduce stress and anxiety level. Regular physical activity releases endorphin, the body's natural mood booster. Proper nutrition fuels your body and mind, while adequate sleep provides the rest they need to function at their best. Mindset also plays an important role. It's often not the circumstances themselves that cause stress and anxiety, but your perception of them. By reframing negative thoughts into positive ones, you can dramatically reduce these feelings. Instead of viewing challenging situations as problems, see them as opportunities for growth. Lastly, don't hesitate to seek professional help if stress and anxiety become too overwhelming. Therapists and counselors are there to provide support and teach coping strategy. Remember, it's perfectly fine to ask for help, and it's a sign of strength, not weakness. Managing stress and anxiety is a journey, not a destination. It's about continuous learning and adapting. With these strategies, you're taking steps towards a healthier, happier you. Chapter 17. Developing Patience and Tolerance. Often you'll find that developing patience and tolerance is as essential to your well-being as managing stress and anxiety. These qualities aren't about suppressing your emotions, but about understanding them and choosing not to let them control you. It's about acknowledging that you can't control everything around you, but you can control how you react to it. Developing patience requires understanding that things take time. You can't rush personal growth, healing, or change. It's not just waiting, but actively understanding and accepting the time it takes for things to happen. That's where tolerance comes in. It's about accepting that not everything will go your way, and that's okay. It's about embracing the discomfort of the unknown and not letting it provoke you into impulsive reaction. How do you develop these qualities? Start by acknowledging your feelings. When you're feeling impatient or intolerant, don't ignore it or push it away. Instead, recognize it, label it, and analyze it. What's causing these feelings? Why are you reacting this way? This awareness is the first step towards developing patience and tolerance. Next, practice mindfulness. When you're fully present in the moment, not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, you'll find it easier to be patient and tolerant. Mindfulness helps you recognize that your feelings are temporary and that reacting impulsively won't help in the long run. Chapter 18. Practicing self-compassion regularly. In harnessing the power of not reacting, it's critical to practice self-compassion regularly. You need to understand that self-compassion isn't just about being kind to yourself. It's a vital element for emotional resilience and mental well-being. Embracing self-compassion is like opening a door to a healthier mental state, and practicing it regularly can fundamentally change how you perceive and deal with life's challenges. It's an act of understanding your emotions, acknowledging your pain, and responding to it with kindness and care. It's about loving yourself, flaws and all. As you deepen your understanding of self-compassion, you'll find it's more than just being kind to yourself. It's about recognizing that suffering and personal inadequacy are part of the shared human experience. You're not alone in your struggles, and it's okay to be imperfect. When you're struggling, instead of criticizing yourself, try to offer the same comfort and understanding you'd give a close friend. That's practicing self-compassion. It's not about ignoring your feelings or suppressing your pain. It's about allowing yourself to feel these emotions and providing a safe space for them. By practicing self-compassion on a regular basis, you're not just being kind to yourself, you're fundamentally shaping a resilience that can help weather life's toughest storms. This isn't just an abstract concept. It's a powerful tool that you can use to better manage your emotions and reactions. When you're compassionate toward yourself, you're acknowledging that it's okay to be imperfect. You're allowing yourself to make mistakes without fear of harsh judgment. This can notably reduce stress levels and boost your overall well-being. Self-compassion also fosters a deeper emotional understanding. It aids in recognizing your emotions without letting them control you. You become more emotionally intelligent, able to discern what you're feeling without immediately reacting. Moreover, it helps in building a healthy relationship with yourself. It's important to remember that the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for all other relationships in your life. In essence, practicing self-compassion not only helps you maintain a balanced emotional state, but also enhances your ability to handle life's ups and downs. It's a powerful tool that, when used regularly, can provide substantial benefits in your journey toward emotional mastery. To cultivate a regular practice of self-compassion, you'll need to consciously integrate mindful habits into your daily life. Nurture kindness towards yourself. 1. Start by setting aside a few minutes each day to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Recognize your imperfections and mistakes as inherent aspects of being human. It's okay to stumble. What's important is your resilience to get back up. Next, practice self-kindness. Speak to yourself as you'd to a dear friend. Replace harsh self-criticism with understanding and encouragement. Remember, it's all right to feel pain or discomfort. These emotions are part of life, and they don't define your worth or capabilities. Lastly, maintain a balanced perspective. Don't blow things out of proportion or belittle your own feelings. Acknowledge your emotions without judgment and let them pass naturally. Cultivating self-compassion isn't about ignoring your struggles, but rather about providing yourself the understanding and patience you need to navigate them. Practicing self-compassion regularly is like honing a skill. It takes time and persistence, but the rewards are immense. So be patient with yourself. Over time, you'll notice a significant shift in your emotional resilience and overall well-being. Chapter 19. Overcoming past emotional trauma. You may have emotional baggage that's been tucked away, but it's crucial to confront this to truly harness the power of not reacting. This doesn't mean letting these past traumas consume you. Instead, it's about understanding them, controlling your emotional responses to them, and ultimately healing. Unraveling the tightly wound threads of past emotional trauma can feel like a formidable task, but it's an essential step in the journey towards healing and self-discovery. It's not about digging up old wounds for the sake of it, but rather to understand the impact they've had on your emotional responses. You're not your past, but your past can influence you. Understanding this is key in unpacking your emotional baggage. Start by acknowledging that your emotions are valid, and it's okay to feel the way you do. Your feelings are real, and they matter. Then, identify the sources of your emotion. Whether it's a past relationship, family issues, or a traumatic event, pinning down the root cause is an important part of the process. Harnessing the power of emotional control, it's possible to overcome the shadows of past trauma, turning them into stepping stones towards a stronger, healthier you. This isn't an overnight process. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a firm commitment to healing. Your first step is to acknowledge your past traumas. To cultivate a regular practice of self-compassion, you'll need to consciously integrate mindful habits into your daily life. Nurture kindness towards yourself. 1. Start by setting aside a few minutes each day to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Recognize your imperfections and mistakes as inherent aspects of being human. It's okay to stumble. What's important is your resilience to get back up. Next, practice self-kindness. Speak to yourself as you'd to a dear friend. Replace harsh self-criticism with understanding and encouragement. Remember, it's all right to feel pain or discomfort. These emotions are part of life, and they don't define your worth or capabilities. Lastly, maintain a balanced perspective. Don't blow things out of proportion or belittle your own feelings. Acknowledge your emotions without judgment and let them pass naturally. Cultivating self-compassion isn't about ignoring your struggles, but rather about providing yourself the understanding and patience you need to navigate them. Practicing self-compassion regularly is like honing a skill. It takes time and persistence, but the rewards are immense. So be patient with yourself. Over time, you'll notice a significant shift in your emotional resilience and overall well-being. Chapter 19. Overcoming past emotional trauma. You may have emotional baggage that's been tucked away, but it's crucial to confront this to truly harness the power of not reacting. This doesn't mean letting these past traumas consume you. Instead, it's about understanding them, controlling your emotional responses to them, and ultimately healing. Unraveling the tightly wound threads of past emotional trauma can feel like a formidable task, but it's an essential step in the journey towards healing and self-discovery. It's not about digging up old wounds for the sake of it, but rather to understand the impact they've had on your emotional responses. You're not your past, but your past can influence you. Understanding this is key in unpacking your emotional baggage. Start by acknowledging that your emotions are valid and it's okay to feel the way you do. Your feelings are real and they matter. Then, identify the sources of your emotion. Whether it's a past relationship, family issues, or a traumatic event, pinning down the root cause is an important part of the process. Harnessing the power of emotional control, it's possible to overcome the shadows of past trauma, turning them into stepping stones towards a stronger, healthier you. This isn't an overnight process. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a firm commitment to healing. Your first step is to acknowledge your past traumas. Don't push them away or bury them deep down. Face them head-on, understand the pain they've caused, and accept that they've shaped you. Next, work on reframing your thoughts. It's easy to let past hurts define you, but remember, you're not a product of your suffering. You're much more than that. Start by recognizing this fact, and slowly you'll begin to see yourself in a new light. Finally, practice emotional regulation. This means not reacting instantly to emotional triggers. Instead, take a step back, breathe, and analyze your feelings before responding. This pause allows you to choose how to react instead of being controlled by your emotion. Healing through emotional control is a journey, not a destination. It's about growing, changing, and becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, you're not alone in this process. You've got the power to control your emotions and heal from past. Chapter 20. Embracing imperfections and mistakes. You're not alone in your struggle to accept personal flaws, overcome the fear of failure. The shared human experience. A journey marked by the courage to confront our imperfections and mistakes, instead of reacting impulsively or defensively. Embracing these aspects of ourselves, rather than pushing them away, empowers us to grow, learn, and move forward with resilience and grace. Recognizing and accepting your personal flaws isn't only a pivotal step towards self-improvement, but it's also a powerful way to enhance your resilience in the face of life's challenges. We all have imperfections, and that's okay. You're not alone in this journey of self-discovery and acceptance. It's a universal human experience. These flaws don't define you, but how you handle them can. By accepting your flaws, you're acknowledging that you're a work in progress, and that's perfectly fine. You're allowing yourself to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. It's a liberating feeling that fosters personal growth, resilience, and emotional stability. By accepting your flaws, you're acknowledging that you're a work in progress, and that's perfectly fine. You're allowing yourself to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. However, acceptance isn't about complacency. It's not an excuse to stop pursuing improvement. It's about understanding your weaknesses without judgment or self-criticism, and using this awareness to navigate your life more effectively. It's not about ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is fine. Instead, resilience is about acknowledging your emotions, understanding them, and allowing them to pass without letting them control you. Cultivating resilience begins with self-awareness. By recognizing and acknowledging your emotional reactions, you're taking the first step towards controlling them. It's okay to feel upset, angry, or anxious. These emotions are part of being human. Next, practice self-compassion. Understand that it's okay to make mistakes and have bad days. These experiences don't define who you are. They're merely stepping stones in your journey of growth and self-improvement. Lastly, maintain a positive outlook. Even when faced with adversity, endeavor to find the silver lining. Remember, challenges are opportunities for growth. They help you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. To truly harness the power of a growth mindset, you need to apply it in your daily life, embracing challenges as opportunities for self-improvement and learning. Start by recognizing that setbacks aren't failures, but lessons. Every time you stumble, you're given a chance to grow, better understand yourself and the world around you. Cultivate curiosity. Be open to new experiences and welcome different perspectives. When you approach situations with an inquisitive mind, it's easier to see possibilities rather than obstacles. Remember, your intelligence and abilities aren't fixed. They're capable of growth. You're not stuck where you are. With effort, perseverance, and a positive attitude, you can learn and improve. Don't shy away from constructive criticism. It's not a personal attack, but a tool for growth. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it to propel yourself forward. Applying a growth mindset involves constant practice and patience, but the rewards are worth it. You'll gain better emotional control, become more resilient, and open doors to self-improvement and personal success. Power of not reacting lies within you, and it's time to tap into it. Chapter 22. Maintaining emotional balance. Mastering your emotions allows you to create a stable emotional balance, which isn't only beneficial for your mental health, but also pivotal in the art of not reacting impulsively. This sense of equilibrium allows you to respond, not react, to life's many challenges. It's like being the calm eye at the center of a storm, impervious to the chaos whirling around you. To achieve this balance, you must first understand your emotional triggers. What situations or people provoke intense reactions in you? Once you've identified these, you can work on strategies to manage them. This might involve distancing yourself from certain environments, or it could require more in-depth psychological work. Next, practice mindfulness. Stay present and focus on the here and now. This helps you avoid dwelling on past regrets or future worries, which can easily tip your emotional scale. Remember, you can't control everything around you, but you can control your reaction to them. Additionally, self-care is vital. Eating healthily, getting enough sleep, and regular exercise can stabilize your mood and increase your emotional resilience. Remember, your physical well-being greatly influences your emotional state. Lastly, don't suppress your emotion. Allow yourself to feel and express your emotions in healthy ways. Bottling up feelings can lead to an emotional explosion later on. It's about controlling, not repressing your. Maintaining an emotional balance isn't about avoiding emotions, but rather managing them. It's a journey, not a destination, and it's completely within your grasp. With practice and patience, you can master this skill and harness the power of not reacting impulsively. To master the power of not reacting, it's vital to understand your emotional triggers and learn to pause before responding. Like a knight in shining armor, equip yourself with deep breathing techniques, a growth mindset, and an understanding of your own imperfection. Remember, you're the master of your emotions, not the other way around. So, take charge. Cultivate gratitude and stride into a future where your emotional balance reigns supreme. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the power of not reacting by Justice O. Malcolm. We hope that the tools and insights shared in this book empower you to manage your emotions more effectively and lead a life characterized by deeper peace and understanding. Remember, mastering your emotions isn't a one-time achievement, but a continual process of growth and learning. As you apply these practices in your daily life, you'll find yourself becoming more resilient, thoughtful, and balanced. Don't forget, the journey to emotional mastery is personal and unique. Take it at your own pace and be kind to yourself along the way. We're excited to see how you use these skills to transform your life and the lives of those around you. Thank you once again for your time and commitment to self-improvement. Here's to your success in mastering the power of not reacting and leading a more fulfilled and controlled life. See you in the next video.